So the next topic is alcohols, phenols and ethers. The topic is alcohols, phenols and ethers. So if you are taking that subtopic, we can discuss these three as a three subtopics. First one is alcohols. So what is meant by an alcohol? Which type of molecules we can call as an alcohols? If the molecules are having that OH group, then the molecules we can call as an alcohols. So the hydroxyl group, it attached to or bonded to derivatives of hydrocarbons. What is the meaning of hydrocarbon? The molecule which is contains only hydrogens and carbon or hydrogen, those molecules we can call as hydrocarbons. So in which molecules, in which type of derivatives of hydrocarbons, those which are attached to hydroxyl groups, those molecules we can call as different type of alcohols. For example, if you are taking that CH3OH, C2H5OH, C3H7OH, for example, I have taken these three molecules. So what is the name of this one? Methanol. This one is ethanol. This one is propanol. Have you observed anything in these three molecules? What is the same thing? OH group is the same thing in this three. So, but there is a different of hydrocarbon. So, means we can call these three as a derivatives of hydrocarbon. This is one type of hydrocarbon. C2H5 is one type of hydrocarbon and C3H7 is a one type of hydrocarbon. So, by the different type of hydrocarbons, we can get different types of alcohols. That's why we mentioned the hydroxyl group is attached to derivatives of hydrocarbons. So we can call as an alcohol. Now, if an alcohol is attached to different type of carbons, we can classify the alcohols into a few types. On the basis of two things, we can classify the alcohols. One is how they are, for which atoms the hydroxyl group is attached. That is one type. Next one is number of hydroxyl groups is present on the molecule. This is second type. So by the two conditions we can classify the alcohols into two types. One is the hydroxyl group is attached to different hydrocarbon part. Different hydrocarbons. For example, if you are taken, this is the first classification of alcohol. In that first one is, if the hydrocarbon is, or if the hydroxyl group, is bonded to saturated hydrocarbon, if the OH group is bonded to saturated hydrocarbon, are known as alcohols. If the hydroxyl group is bonded to the saturated hydrocarbon, are known as alcohols. What is the meaning of saturated hydrocarbon? Which are the molecules are having the only one type of bond, that is called as sigma bonds or single bonds. That molecules we can call as saturated molecules. So for these saturated hydrocarbons, if any OH group is attached, that type of molecules we can call as alcohols. If you are seeing the examples, now I have already written methanol, propanol, ethanol. So examples of alcohols are saturated hydrocarbon alcohols. This one is OH, propanol, isobutanol. So we can call, so if you have taken these three molecules, methanol, ethanol, propanol and isobutanol. So in the three cases there is a different type of hydrocarbon is present. So in all the molecules there is only presence of one type of bond, sigma bonds. So these three we can call as saturated alcohols. Saturated alcohols, or we can call these are alcohols. So if you are taking that second type, if the OH group is bonded to the unsaturated hydrocarbon, unsaturated hydrocarbon are known as enols, not ethers. What is the meaning of enols? How can we say these are called as enols? Means if you are taking that unsaturated hydrocarbon, what is the meaning of unsaturated hydrocarbon? The molecules which are having double bond or triple bond. Now if you are taking that one example, I am taking allyl alcohol. How can we give the numbering for this one? 1, 2, 3. Means the name is prop. Next one is primary suffix. Primary suffix 2, in and 1, ol. So in the last of the name, what will get? Phenol. That's why we can call these are enols. Third one, if the OH group is, attached to the benzene rings, are known as phenols. Are known as phenols. Are known as phenols. So what is the phenol structure? On benzene, OH will be there. That one is called as phenol. So fourth one is, if the OH group is attached to the next to the benzene ring, if the OH group is attached to next to the benzene, are known as benzyl. Known as benzyl alcohols. Benzyl alcohols. What is the meaning of benzyl? So on CH2 group, on benzene, there is a presence of CH2. So this one we can call as phenyl, benzyl. So this benzyl group having one hydroxyl group, that is called as benzyl alcohol. This group is known as benzyl. Benzyl after an OH is called as an alcohol. So this is the classification of alcohols on the basis of OH group is attached to different kinds of hydrocarbons. Now the second classification of alcohols on the basis of number of hydroxyl groups are attached to the molecule. For example, some of the molecules are having one hydroxyl group, in some of them are having 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Like that will be, there is a difference in number of hydroxyl groups in present in different molecules. Now if you are seeing that the classification of alcohols on the basis of number of hydroxyl groups. First, the alcohols are classified into two types. One is aliphatic. One is aliphatic alcohols. Next one is aromatic alcohols. One is aliphatic alcohols and one is aromatic alcohols. Now if you are taken the aliphatic alcohols, so the OH group present in aliphatic hydrocarbons. Aliphatic hydrocarbons are nothing but they are having only chains. There is no ring. So or are chains. So or are chains. So these are called as aliphatic alcohols. So aromatic alcohols means the OH group is attached to benzene ring or are next to the benzene. Next to benzene. So those type of molecules we can call as aromatic alcohols. It is attached to OH. So aliphatic alcohols are again classified into four types. One is monohydric alcohols. Monohydric alcohols. Monohydric alcohols are nothing but if the molecule having one OH group. If the molecule having only one OH group, that molecules we can call as monohydric alcohols. So what are the examples we can take? Ethanol, propanol, isopropyl alcohol. Any one of the example we can take for monohydric alcohols. So next one is dihydric alcohols. So dihydric alcohols are nothing but there is a presence of two hydroxyl groups. Presence of two OH groups. Presence of two OH groups, that one you can call as dihydric alcohols. What we can take an example for dihydric alcohols? Examples for dihydric alcohols. So CH2, OH, and this one is one more CH2 and OH. We can write as glycerol. The name of glycol. The name of this one is glycol. Glycol we can write R. What is the IUPAC name? 1, 2. 1, 2. Diols. Ethane diols. Ethane diol. Or R. One more. 1, 2. Ethyl alcohols. So dialcohols. We can write that one. One more if you have taken this one. What is the name of this? 1, 2, 3. 1, 3 diols means prop and 1, 3 diols. 1, 3 diols. Two hydroxyl groups only present on this one. Now if you have taken the third one. Third group is that classification is trihydric alcohols. Trihydric alcohols. Trihydric alcohols. So what is the meaning of trihydric alcohols? It is the presence of three OH groups. Presence of three OH groups. If you have taken the molecule, here OH and here one OH and here one OH I am taking. So the name of this one is glycerol. We can write it is a glycerol. Or our IUPAC name is 1, 3, 2, 3. Prop and triol. Propane triol. So next one is fourth one, polyhydric alcohols. Polyhydric alcohols means the molecules are having more than 3 hydroxyl groups. Polyhydric alcohols. Polyhydric alcohols. So presence of more than 3 OH groups. Presence of more than three hydroxyl groups present in the molecule, those molecules we can call as polyhydric alcohols. We can take the example of sorbitol. Sorbitol is nothing but it is having 6 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On every carbon, one hydroxyl group is there. So we can name this one is sorbitol. We can call this one is sorbitol or mannitol. We can call as sorbitol or mannitol. So this is a polyhydric alcohols. What is the next one? What is the meaning of aromatic alcohols? Aromatic alcohols means they can be hydroxyl group, they can be attached directly to benzene ring or next to the benzene ring. Means the molecule having the aromatic compound. That type of molecules we can call as aromatic alcohols. So if you are saying that aromatic alcohols, so the OH group is attached to directly benzene or next to the benzene. So what are the examples for that one means we can see next to the benzene. Why? Because if it is directly attached to the benzene we can call as phenols. So that phenols we can discuss in another part. So we can call it this one is benzyl alcohol. If you are taken OH at this position, I am taking CH3. What we can write? This one is benzyl alcohol. At ortho position, CH3 is there. 1, 2 we can write or ortho methyl benzyl alcohol. 2 methyl benzyl alcohol. So these type of molecules, if the molecule are having the aromatic, what are the 4 conditions required for aromatic? One is ring should be there. Next one is the molecule should have the conjugation, continuation conjugation should be present. Next one is the molecule should have the 4n plus 2 pi electrons. The last one is all the carbons present in the molecule should be same plane. Same plane means they are having only one type of hybridization. So if the molecule follows that 4 conditions, the type of molecules will be called as aromatic. So this is the classification of alcohols on the basis of number of hydroxyl groups present in the molecule. Next one is on the basis of hydroxyl group attached to different type of carbon atoms. So if you have taken that, now I am taking classification of monohydric alcohols. Again we can classify this monohydric alcohols into different types. Monohydric alcohols. So this monohydric alcohols we can even classify into different types. How can we classify means? Monohydric means is the presence of single OH group. Now if the OH group is attached to sp3 carbon atom, if the OH group, first classification in monohydric alcohols, if the OH group is attached to or bonded to sp3 carbon atom, if the OH group is attached to sp3 carbon atoms. So now we can see again this one we can classify into 3 types. One is primary alcohols, secondary alcohols, tertiary alcohols. So first one is primary alcohols. sp3 carbon is attached to hydroxyl group means it is having a single bond. saturated alcohols we can call. Now primary alcohols we can classify into secondary and tertiary alcohols. So what we can call a primary alcohol? What we can call a primary alcohol? Primary alcohol is nothing but where the OH group is attached to primary carbon. Primary carbon. What is the meaning of primary carbon? Not first group. So it is a carbon attached to one more carbon. So the carbon is attached to one carbon. That carbon we can call as primary carbon. So OH group is attached to or bonded to primary carbon atom. Those are we can call as primary alcohols. So what is the primary alcohol? CH3, CH2 and OH. Now we need to see this OH. We need to see this OH. This OH is attached to which carbon? Which type of carbon? So if you have taken this carbon is only attached to this carbon. Means one carbon attached. One means this carbon is called as a primary carbon. This carbon also we can call as primary carbon. So we can call this alcohol is a primary alcohol. Now second one is OH group is attached to secondary carbon atom. So what is the meaning of secondary carbon? The carbon is attached to two more carbons, that is called as secondary carbon. For that secondary carbon, OH group need to be attached. That type of molecules we can call as secondary alcohols. For example, if you have taken this one, the top of the carbon is primary because this carbon is attached to one carbon. If you have taken that middle carbon attached to above carbon and below carbon, we can call this one is secondary. This one is primary. Now this secondary carbon is attached to one OH. Now that OH we can call as secondary OH. So this one is secondary alcohols. Next one is tertiary alcohols. OH group is attached to tertiary carbon atom. What is the meaning of tertiary alcohol? Isopropyl means this one only. Second one. This one name is isopropyl alcohol. So this one is isopropyl. Means the carbon need to, the OH is attached to carbon. Now this carbon need to be tertiary carbon. Tertiary carbon means that need to be attached to three carbons. 1, 2, 3. So that is called as tertiary. Not isopropyl, neopropyl, neobutyl alcohol, not propyl. 1, 2, 3, 4. If any three groups are attached to one carbon, that is called as neo. If two are attached, that is called as iso. See, for this carbon, two carbons are attached. This linkage we can call as iso. Propanol means this one. This is the propanol. 1, 2, 3. But this is the OH is attached to middle carbon. So this linkage we can call as isopropyl. Iso. This one is called as iso. If you are having 3 means that is neo. Next one is if the next classification. If OH group is bonded to, if OH group is bonded to sp2 carbon atom, sp2 carbon atom, sp2 carbon atom means the OH group is directly attached to double bonded carbon. Double bonded carbon's hybridization is sp2. So examples are CH2 double bond CH OH, ethynyl alcohol, or vinyl alcohol. We can call as ethynyl alcohols or vinyl alcohols. Or our IUPAC name is 1, 2. So eth 1 ol. What is the name? Eth double bond in. So at first position ethanol, or we can write as OH written ol. 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 So this is called as, if the OH group is attached to second carbon sp2 carbon atom. So if the OH group is attached to benzene ring, we can call as phenols. If the OH group is attached to next to the benzene ring, we can call as benzyl alcohols. So those are the type of alcohols present on number of OH groups attached to this one, and also the monohydric alcohols can be classified into these types. If the OH group is attached to sp3 carbon atom, one more is sp2 carbon atom. So this is the classification of alcohols. On the basis of two things we can classify the alcohols. One is which part of the hydrocarbon is attached to OH group. Next one is number of OH groups are attached to molecule. So there are two types of classification of alcohols, mainly in that sub-classifications are there. Now, if you are saying that IUPAC nomenclature or naming of alcohols, how can we give the naming of alcohols? By the three methods, we can give the naming of alcohols. One thing we know very well, IUPAC nomenclature. Second one is common names. Third one is carbonyl system. So naming of alcohols. So how can we give the naming of an alcohol? Means by the three methods. By the three methods, we can give the naming of alcohols. One is common names. Another one is carbonyl system. Third one is IUPAC nomenclature. If you are taking that first one, so from the first one, how can we give the naming of alcohols? First one is common names or common system. So by this method, we can give the naming of an alcohol by this method. The name of alcohols, the naming of alcohols can be given by how can we call an alcohol by common name? Methyl alcohol, ethyl alcohol, propyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. We are giving those are not IUPAC names. IUPAC names are different. These are different. Methyl alcohol we can call as IUPAC name as methanol. As an alcohol we can use in IUPAC ol, but here we are using alcohol. So given by alkyl alcohol. So by this method we can give the naming of an alcohol is alkyl alcohol. Means hydrocarbon we need to write before that alcohols, then we can give last is alcohol. So you can see how can we give that. For example, I am taking this one. So if you are observing this molecule, this one is hydrocarbon part, this one is OH. So we can write OH is alcohol. So what is this one? Ethyl or methyl? This one is ethyl. So eth means we need to write as alkyl. We need to add YL. So we can write ethyl alcohol. For example, you can take this one. What is the name if it is attached to secondary carbon? Iso. Iso is the common name. Isopropyl alcohol. If it is attached to this one, neobutyl. One carbon is attached extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this link is neo. Next one is butyl alcohol. Neo is not possible for Propanes means 3 molecular carbons. For example, I have taken this molecule. What is the name of this? You can write absolutely alcohol is the last. Next one is, how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Means butyl. But here there is a presence of iso linkage. What we can write? Isobutyl. If one more carbon extra inserted, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Isopentyl. If I inserted one more carbon, isopentyl, not butyl. Isopentyl alcohol. Now if I inserted one more carbon, isohexyl alcohol. If I remove one carbon from here, I am placing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First one is neohexyl alcohol. So like this we can give the common names. Or we can take cyclic ring. OH given. So OH means we can give alcohol at the last. Cyclo, how many carbons are there? Hexyl. Cyclohexyl alcohol. Like that we can give the naming of alcohols by these common names, common system. So if you are taking that next one, carbinol system. Carbinol system. What is the meaning of carbinol? Carbinol is nothing but which is the simplest monohydric alcohol. Which is the simplest monohydric alcohol. That one we can call as carbinol. What is the simplest alcohol? Monohydric. I mentioned monohydric alcohol. Monohydric alcohol means presence of one OH. Presence of one OH we can call as monohydric alcohols. Now what is the simplest monohydric alcohol? Simple. Methyl alcohol. Before methyl alcohol we can write any alcohol. First one carbon, OH group is required. That is called as a methanol. So it is CH3OH. This is the simplest alcohol. This is the first alcohol. So this alcohol we can call as carbinol. He was taken simplest alcohol and given carbinol name. Now the simplest monohydric alcohol is known as carbinol. So the simplest monohydric alcohol is known as a carbinol. That is nothing but CH3OH. Now if you are observing that common system, if you are seeing this one, this is the alcohol we read last. So what is the group is attached to that OH group? That one we written before of the alcohol. Same like that. Here we are taking in the place of OH carbinol. So what is the group is attached to this carbinol? That we need to write from before. After that we need to write carbinol. So carbinol, CH3OH. Now if you are taking that example of carbinol system, I am taking CH3, CH2OH. So what is the carbinol here? This one is the carbinol. So this group is attached to carbinol. Methyl. So this is the whole thing is carbinol we are writing. So what is the group attached to carbinol? Methyl. So methyl carbinol. So if I taken that this one, how can I give the name? This one is carbinol. This is called as ethyl. ethyl carbonyl. For example, I have taken this one. Isopropyl. See, you can separate this one. After that, you can see how many carbons are there. 1, 2, 3. Isopropyl. Isopropyl alcohol. So next classification, IUPAC system. Third type of naming system is IUPAC nomenclature. What is the full form IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. By this system we can give the name. By this system the alcohols are named as alkanols. We can call as alkanols. So why we are calling it an alcohol? This one, alkane is the hydrocarbon part, remaining is ol. So it is CH3, CH2 and OH. So what? How can I write? This is 1, this is 2, this one is ethanol. First of all, how to give the naming of an alcohol by IUPAC system means there is a formula is there. What is that rule? Secondary prefix, primary prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. So what is the meaning of secondary prefix? It is a presence of substitution. So this one is for using for cyclic molecules, cyclo. This one you can call as number of carbon atoms. Next one is primary suffix. It is tells about unsaturation present in the molecule. That is called as N, E, I. So secondary means tells about functional group. For example, I have taken the isopropyl alcohol. How can you give the numbering? We should start from the middle or can start from any one of the edge. We need to start from the edge of the molecule 1, 2, 3. So what is the name? First we need to write prop. First to write the root word. What will be present of root word means 3 carbons are there. Select the longest chain, you can write prop. Next one is primary suffix is N. Next one is 2, ol. So is there any substitution present in this one? No, we cannot give. Now we can take this one. If you take in this one, what is the name of this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hex. So root word is hex. Root word is hex. So suffix is, there is no double bond, N. At first position OH is there, 1 mole. So prefix, in this two side is so we can write the name of that alcohols by IUPAC system like this. Next one we can write isomerism of an alcohols. Isomerism of an alcohols. This one we can discuss tomorrow.